So we're going to start with the menus. So if we look at the top menu, this will be the main admin panel menu. And we'll start over to the right where we've got some of the auxiliary functions. So starting from the right, the rightmost icon would be the user menu. So we click here and we get the user menu. So let's just go from top to bottom. You're going to see the email address that you're logged in as, and then you're going to see the amount of time remaining before logout. Okay, so when you log in, typically in the morning when you start using the admin panel, you get a certain amount of hours. In this case, it's 12, and then you'll be logged out. And then normally what you would do is just log in the next morning. If you're running low and you want to refresh your login, you can use this button here. So if I click this, refresh my login, and then it's back to 12 hours. Okay, so you can use that if you're running close to your logout time. And then if you want to log out completely, you can use the logout button, and then you'll just have to log in again afterwards. Remember that login with Pakk is always with the one-time code that's valid for 5 minutes. So once you type your email address in, it sends you a code, and you have to use that code within 5 minutes to be able to log in. Then we've got the language control. So this will change the language of the whole admin panel, and this is private to you. So it doesn't change it for the account, it just changes it for you as an admin panel user. And then we have brand mode, and this is going to take a little bit more explanation. So as you know, in Pakk we have brands. So we're just going to go out of that menu for a second, set up brands. Okay, so in this account, which is a sort of a demo Pakk account, we've got two brands. One of them's called Bistro and one of them's called Fruit and Veg. Okay, so let me show you how the admin panel interacts when you go in and out of brand mode. So at the moment, we're not in brand mode. Okay, when we say that, we mean we haven't selected any particular brand. We're in, you might think of it as all brand mode. And you can see that from the logo in the top left corner. So at the moment, we've got the general account logo showing in the top left corner, and that is set here in the account settings, which we'll come back to shortly. But just to show you that the account logo here is the Pakk logo. Okay, and that's why that's showing in the top left corner, because we're not in brand mode. So let's go back to the home page. Now, if I go into brand mode, so you'll see here the two brands that I have are the ones that are showing. So if I go into Bistro mode, you'll see in the top left corner, the logo changes to that brand's logo. And now I'm in brand mode for Bistro. And what that's going to mean is that everything that doesn't pertain to the Bistro brand is going to be filtered out. So I'm only going to see stuff which is linked to the Bistro brand. So that could be customers, it could be sales orders, it can be absolutely everything. So every single thing in Pakk, you can tie it to a brand. And then if I'm in brand mode, all the records that are not relating to that brand will not be shown. So this is a really good way to organize your business into internal brands, go into brand mode, and then you can just ignore everything else and focus on that brand. At the point you want to see everything in your account, you can always just go out of brand mode into no brand, and now you're going to see everything across all brands in your business. So there's a really powerful internal mechanism for organization. Okay, and that's how you mostly access it in here, switching between no brand and the different brand modes that you have available. Then we have a list of tutorials and guides. Basically, this is the documentation from the documentation section in Pakk. So if we go to pakk.io and we go to the documentation section, all of this documentation, which is publicly available, is also available directly from your admin panel. So if I click on pricing tutorial, I get the documentation in the admin panel. This is really, really useful. You don't have to go out of your admin panel to see the documentation. And there's more documentation available, but this is your basic documentation. And then down in the bottom here, we've reserved this for advanced settings. At the moment, we only have this one to do with API field paths, which we can basically ignore for now. So that's your user menu. The next icon we have here is this little cog icon, which is for your account settings. Now, the account settings, there's a lot of them, and these are your basic lowest level account settings. So the legal name for the business, the time zone, the currency, lots of different top level settings that you set up here. Now, what you need to understand about account settings is that they have a relationship with brand settings and website settings, and that relationship is a hierarchical one. So you set up your basic settings here in the account settings. And then what you can do is, if you have brands, if you're using brands, if you're not using brands, don't worry about it. If you are using brands, you can override. So you see here a lot of these settings are the exact same settings we saw in the account settings. That's because if you set these up, they will override the account settings when you're using that brand. So the easiest example to understand is the logo. So if I have a basic account logo here, which is the Pakk logo, and then I go into brands, you'll see that I've got a different logo. This logo overrides the basic account logo. If I wasn't to set this, it would inherit the account logo. So anything you don't set here, it will inherit from the account settings. Again, this is just a really easy way to organize everything. You set up all your basic settings at the account level and you override them for your brands. And you can also override at the website level. So you're going to see all of these settings repeated on your website. So if I go to set up websites, and I'll go to the boutique one, for example, again, you see a lot of the same settings, the logo. And if I go to settings, a lot of these settings are repeated from the account settings and the brand settings. And that just means you can override them here as well. So it will take them first from the account, then from the brand. And if you want to override them for the website, you can do that. So you can set up a really complex setup where you have multiple brands, multiple websites across those brands or even unrelated to those brands. And you set things at the lowest level you can, and then you override them. Okay. So that's basically how your brand setup works and your account settings. So this is the first thing you should do when you come into your account. Get this set up with your basics, and then you probably very rarely have to come back here. I would say probably the most common reason why you come back here would be the tags. So these are tags that we use to organize different things, and you can see I haven't got any set up here. We can do that now. Lots of stuff inside your account is tagged. And this is a way to centralize those tags so you don't have like typos or repeat similar tags. It's just a way to organize everything neatly. So for example, if we wanted to organize our images, let's say we were going to upload some logos, we were going to upload some client images, and we were going to do some headshots and maybe some products. And save that. Now these images will be available for me to classify. These tags, will be available for me to classify my images when I upload them. Okay, so that's probably a reason why you'd come back here a lot. This icon here is our first mini app. So this is going to open the demand planner. I'm not going to go into that now, but if you're using the demand planner for your sales forecasting and purchasing, you can click here and it's going to open that. And then we will, as we add more functionality, mini app type functionality, that will go there.